Assalamu alaikum, this is Maria Zulfikar welcoming you all to the English news from BTV Chattogram. Let's begin with the headlines. Advisory Council gives final approval to draft of International Crimes Tribunal's Third Amendment Ordinance 2025. Appellate Division upholds High Court verdict acquitting all convicted in cases filed over August 21st grenade attack. Testimony in crimes against humanity case against Sheikh Hasina and two others might be completed within 1 month. Election Commission seeks cooperation of media as it determines to hold a national election in free, fair and impartial manner. At least 73 Palestinians killed in Israeli attacks across Gaza since dawn. Hamas demands UN intervention to stop Israel's genocide. And Argentina to take on Venezuela in World Cup qualifier at Monumental Stadium in Buenos Aires, as Lionel Messi is set to play his last World Cup qualifier. Viewers, those were the headlines. Now moving on to the details. The Advisory Council approved the policy for renewable energy-based commercial electricity generation and setting up of power plants with private participation 2025 and the Telecommunications Network and Licensing Policy 2025. The approval was given at the Advisory Council meeting held at the Chief Advisor's office at Tejgaon in the capital today. Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus presided over the meeting. The Council also gave the final approval to the draft of the International Crimes Tribunal's Third Amendment Ordinance 2025, subject to vetting by the Legislative and Parliamentary Affairs Division. Advisors and secretary concerned were present at the meeting. The Appellate Division of the Supreme Court today upheld a High Court verdict that acquitted all those convicted by a lower court in the two cases filed over the August 21 in 2004 grenade attack. Dismissing the state's appeal against the High Court verdict, a 6-member Appellate Division bench led by Chief Justice Saeed Rifat Ahmed unanimously delivered the judgment along with observations. Attorney General Muhammad Asaduzzaman, Additional Attorney Generals Abdul Jabbar Bhuiyan and Barrister Onik Rushd Haq and Deputy Attorney General Abdullah Al Mahmoud Masood argued for the state, while Senior Advocate S.M. Shah Jahan and Advocate Muhammad Shishir Monir appeared for the defense. The Apex Court on August 21, 2025 set today for pronouncing judgment in the murder and explosives substances cases filed over the grenade attack on an Awami League rally on Bangabandhu Avenue in the capital on August 21, 2004. Hearing is concluded and judgment on September 4, 2025. The short order said on that day earlier on June 1 in 2025, the Appellate Division granted leave to appeal against the High Court verdict that acquitted all the convicts in the two cases. The High Court on December 1 in 2024 scrapped the lower court judgment in the two cases, delivering its verdict after hearing the death references, criminal and jail appeals. Death reference is rejected, all appeals are allowed. All rules are made absolute, said the short judgment pronounced by the High Court bench of Justice A.K.M. Asaduzzaman and Justice Syed Inayat Hussain. Defense Counsel Advocate Shishir Monir later told newsmen that the High Court observed the lower court trial was illegal as it was not held in accordance with the law. He said no eyewitnesses were examined in the cases, and the verdict was based on the forged confessional statement of Mufti Abdul Hannan, according to him, which carried no evidential value. On the 12th day of testimony in the July-August mass uprising crimes against humanity case against ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and two others, cross-examination is underway of Chaudhry Abdullah Al Mamun, a former accused who turned state witness. The other accused in the case is former Home Minister Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal. According to the latest information, the cross-examination began in the morning at the International Crimes Tribunal 1, headed by Chairman Justice Muhammad Ghulam Mortuza Muzumdar, along with two other members. State-appointed defense lawyer Amir Hussain conducted the cross-examination of state witness Chaudhry Abdullah Al Mamun. Prosecutors Mizanul Islam and Ghazi M.H. Tamim were present at the tribunal during the proceedings. In the previous 11 days, a testimony from 36 out of a total of 81 witnesses in the case has been completed. Briefing reporters during a recess, prosecutor Mizanul Islam said that testimony in the crimes against humanity case against Sheikh Hasina and the two others might be completed by the end of this month or the first week of the next month. Earlier in the morning, former Inspector General of Police Chaudhry Abdullah Al Mamun, who became a state witness in the case against Sheikh Hasina and two others, was produced before the tribunal. Meanwhile, the International Crimes Tribunal 1 has scheduled the next hearing for September 7 in the Chankarpur murder case related to killings during the July-August uprising. 4 accused in that case were produced before the tribunal in the morning. The 13th National Parliamentary election will be free, fair and impartial, and the Election Commission will not tolerate any irregularities. At the same time, the Commission has sought the cooperation of the media to ensure transparency in future elections. Election commissioners made these remarks today during an exchange meeting with members of the Reporters Forum for Election and Democracy at the conference room of the Election Commission building in Agargaon. The meeting was presided over by Election Commission Senior Secretary Akhtar Ahmed, while Election Commissioners Abdur Rahman Al-Masud, Tahmida Ahmed, Anwarul Islam Shorkar and retired Brigadier General Abul Fazl Muhammad Sanaullah, along with RFED President Qazi Zibil and General Secretary Ghulam Rabbani, also addressed the event. The commissioners emphasized that a fair election is not possible without the support of the media and assured that the Election Commission will give due importance to the demands of journalists. Now, international news. At least 73 more Palestinians have been killed in Gaza due to Israeli aggression. Among them, 43 people died in Gaza City alone. Since October 7, 2023, Israeli attacks in Gaza have killed nearly 64,000 Palestinians so far, while more than 161,000 have been injured. Meanwhile, the United Nations Committee on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities on Wednesday reported that since the beginning of Israel's genocide in Gaza, at least 21,000 children in the enclave have become disabled. The UN committee further stated that in the nearly 2 years since the war began, about 40,500 children have suffered war-related injuries, more than half of whom have been left disabled. President Vladimir Putin has said Russia is willing to fight to achieve all its objectives if Ukraine does not agree to a deal. He made the remarks in China after attending a huge military parade seen as a challenge to Donald Trump and the US-dominated world order. The US president has tried to persuade Putin to end the war, but the Russian leader, while pressing Trump's sincere desire, has so far not done so. Visiting Kiev, UK Defense Secretary John Healey told the BBC Trump had brought Putin to the table and had not ruled out putting more pressure on him. Countries like the UK, he said, were willing to put extra economic pressure on Putin and to give extra aid to Ukraine so they can keep in the fight. Trump pulled Putin out of international isolation last month when he hosted a meeting with him in Alaska. He also tried to persuade Putin to meet Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. "I have never ruled out the possibility of such a meeting, but is there any point? Let's see," Putin said on Wednesday. He added that any such meeting required preparation to yield results and that Zelensky could always go to Moscow to see him. "Unknowingly unacceptable idea," Ukraine's foreign minister was quick to point out. Ukraine's president has been highlighting Putin's refusal to meet as a way of urging Trump to impose sanctions on Russia and boost Ukraine's defenses. Russia launched a full-scale invasion of its neighbor in February 2022. At least 60 people have died in a boat capsizing incident in Niger State, north-central Nigeria. Several others have been rescued alive in this incident. This information was reported today by Al Jazeera. The Niger State Emergency Management Agency stated on Wednesday that the boat capsized after colliding with a submerged tree stump near the Gausawa community. The agency informed the local newspaper Daily Trust that the accident occurred due to overcrowding and the collision with the tree stump. The organization also stated that there were women and children on the boat who were heading to a morning gathering in Dugha. The organization's Director General and Chairman of the Borogo local government area, Abdullahi Baba Ara, said that the rescue operation is still ongoing and search efforts for the missing are underway. Due to continuous rainfall in the northern Indian state of Punjab, there has been a devastating flood caused by rising river waters. So far, the BBC has reported at least 30 deaths due to the flood. Additionally, more than 350,000 people have been affected. Authorities have declared all 23 districts of the state flood affected. According to government information, nearly 20,000 people have been relocated to safer places. More than 100 relief camps have been set up to provide shelter and food to the affected families. The state's Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann has stated that this is the most severe flood since 1988. He has requested emergency funds from the central government to manage the situation. The agriculture sector of the state has been devastated by the flood. Punjab, known as India's granary, is one of the top suppliers of rice and wheat in the country. In this flood, nearly 148,000 hectares of agricultural land have been submerged. There is growing concern about the future of the large population dependent on agriculture. The waters of the Sutlej, Beas and Ravi rivers have risen dangerously, submerging many villages. The Army, Navy and Air Force, along with multiple disaster response teams, are engaged in rescue operations. So far, 35 helicopters and over 100 boats have been involved in the rescue efforts. The Meteorological Department of India has reported that unusual rainfall is occurring due to the mixture of the monsoon winds and western weather. Not only in India's Punjab but also in Pakistan's Punjab, across the border, almost 2 million people have been affected by a severe flood.